Our national anthem especially important on this morning as we are marking 22 years since September 11th, a very somber day for everyone across our country.
All right, President Biden is heading to Alaska to commemorate 9/11 from a military base in Anchorage in a break from tradition, as in no one ever thought they would ever do something like that.
No president's ever done this.
Yep, it's like it's a secondhand thing.
Right.
It comes as he wraps up his trip to Vietnam, where some of his comments are getting a little bit of attention this morning.
Peter Doocy joins us now with more. Peter?
You guys, the whole reason President Biden was here in Hanoi missing 9/11 events back home is because he and his staff were telling us it's so important, strategically important, to come here to Vietnam to counter China's influence in the region, in South Asia. Well, when asked, he didn't have anything but nice things to say about China.
And so really what this trip was about, it was less about containing China. I don't want to contain China. We're not looking to hurt China.
He did say he thinks China is having some economic problems that they've got to figure out, and that was the talking point. White House officials only called on 5 total reporters. All the questions were variations of the same thing. President Biden is usually curious to hear what his press corps wants to ask about, but he seemed very, very concerned with deviating from a plan drawn up by his staff.
Staff, or anybody haven't spoken to? No, I ain't calling on you. I'm calling on, I said I had 5 questions. Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed. Thank you.
This is a White House that is confronted with poll after poll after poll of Americans worrying that he might be too old for a second term. And then he comes to Vietnam and announces that he is going to bed. It's unclear how that is going to ease concerns that people have back home that he might be too old for a second term. Back to you.
Wow. So Peter, the main thing is he had to make a decision between being home for 9/11 and going to Vietnam. Is that what the staff is saying?
Yeah, basically. And I've asked around about this. They think that it's just that important. It's unclear, though, why it had to be scheduled right now, like why he couldn't have come to Vietnam before he went to the G20. They added it on because he was going to be at the G20 in India anyway. We're kind of in the same part of the world. Why couldn't they do it before? We don't have answers to that. It's not like there was a big summit here. He was just coming to meet the communist leaders of this country. And so it could have really been done at any time. But they said it's just so important. And something that I heard from a White House official that I asked about this, they told me, well, 22 years after Pearl Harbor, U.S. presidents weren't still going to Hawaii to commemorate things. And so I think that there is an eagerness to kind of walk and chew gum at the same time. They think that they are able to commemorate September 11th in the U.S. later on this afternoon. I believe his event is going to be in the 4 p.m. Eastern hour. That's about as late as we've ever seen. That's definitely the latest that we've ever seen a U.S. president on September 11th since 2001. But they just think it's that important to have come here first.
Well, isn't it important to show the families of 9/11 here in America that he cares about them?
And they think that they are doing that. And something else that I was told is that these folks up in Alaska who serve the armed forces, they are like on the front lines looking for threats that are going to come to the homeland from Alaska, and they don't get a ton of attention. They haven't gotten a ton of attention in the wars that followed. And so it's a different look, but they think that they are doing it all.
All right.
Hey, Peter, real quick, what is the White House position then on China if we don't want to hurt them or contain them? Any clarity?
That if China does well, everybody does well. And so they want China to play by the rules of the road, but they're not necessarily doing anything new to try to pressure them to do that. It's just kind of saying, hey, China, we're here. We're just visiting the communist leaders in Vietnam. Don't worry about it. Just do your best to get your economy back on track because that's good for everybody.
Peter, did they?
And maybe we'll talk to Xi at some point.
Peter,
but he hasn't talked to President Biden since November.
Did they address the issue that Xi Jinping was not there? Instead, he sent his premier. There are so many articles this morning. Microsoft Network has a great article about this is a significant snub, that Xi Jinping is attempting to discredit the G20 by sending the premier instead. That his absence sends a stark signal that China is done with established world order?
They kind of addressed it, but all that we're hearing from the president himself is, well, I'll talk to him at some point. And President Biden keeps talking, including yesterday at this press conference, all 5 questions worth. He mentioned again that he has traveled with Xi more than any world leader ever. He keeps mentioning the history, but it's unclear what that means for the future, because if you can't go to the well of goodwill from all those miles traveled together, I don't know what you're getting.
Peter, great points. I know it's frustrating to travel all this way and not get the questions off. We appreciate your perspective. Great job.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.